Good morning. Here we are today from the Farm to Table Show. All right. All right. Let's see. We're a little slow getting started. Good morning. Welcome back to the Farm to Table Show morning edition. Your sunrise companion for stories, lessons, and real talk from the homestead life. Today, we're diving into one of the most cherished yet misunderstood ideas in this whole self sufficient movement, and that is that of self reliance. Now, if you've ever started down the road of homesteading, prepping, gardening, canning, hunting, or living simply, you've no doubt heard the word self reliance 100 times. Maybe you've even used it to describe your lifestyle, your goals, or your values. But let's pause and ask the question, what do we really mean by self reliance? And are we sometimes getting it wrong? There's a popular image out there, especially on social media, in survivalist circles or among rugged individualists, of the lone wolf. You know, the one, a hardened soul, off grid, living completely alone and off the land, not needing anyone, anything, or any help. And while it's inspiring to think of ourselves as strong and capable, this version of self reliance can turn into something else entirely: isolation, pride, and even burnout. Because here's the truth: most folks eventually run into nobody makes it alone. That's right, nobody makes it alone. Not in homesteading, not in faith, and not in life. Self reliance doesn't mean doing everything yourself or pretending you don't need anyone. It means taking ownership of your responsibilities, learning to do more with your own hands, and building a life where you contribute more than you consume, but not where you cut off the world. That's not self reliance. That's a trap. Redefining self reliance. Let's do that. Let's reframe this idea because language matters. What we call something shapes how we live it out. So instead of seeing self reliance as a fortress, impenetrable, isolated, cold, we prefer to talk in terms like self sufficiency, the ability to meet your needs from your own resources while still engaging with others when needed. Resilience, the capacity to weather storms, bounce back from setbacks, and keep growing. And sustainable living, where you live in balance with the earth, your energy, your health, and your values. And practical autonomy, where your freedom is tied to your know how, not fantasy. And of course, homestead independent, where the land, your home, and your labor produce stability and security, not anxiety and scarcity. And maybe most importantly, interdependence. Understand that one, not independence, interdependence, where you're strong enough to stand on your own 2 feet and wise enough to link arms with others when the time comes. Community. And here's the myth of total control. It's where the lone wolf ideal really breaks down. It assumes that if you just prepare hard enough, grow enough, or build enough, you can shield yourself from every storm. But we all know life doesn't work that way. Crops fail, animals get sick, tools break, health issues come up, and sometimes you just need a neighbor with a tractor. Amen. Homesteading and self reliance don't give us total control, they give us better footing. They help us walk into uncertain times with steadier hands and fuller pantries, yes, but not with guarantees. The goal isn't to be untouchable, it's to be resilient. It's to bounce back, to endure, to adapt. And ironically, that kind of strength comes more from community than from isolation. Let's take some land lessons from the land. Land itself. Nature teaches us this better than any philosophy. Trees in a forest grow taller and stronger because they share resources through root systems. Bees thrive in colonies, not as individuals. And chickens don't do well alone. They need to flock. And that goes for some other animals like sheep and goats as well. Soil health depends on networks of fungi, bacteria, worms, and roots all working together. It's all connected. So, why do we think people should be any different? Yes, we grow our own food, we fix our own equipment, we learn the skills. But the minute we believe we're an island, we lose one of the greatest blessings this life has to offer: the strength of mutual support, the strength of community. Now, the difference between dependency and interdependency, let's talk about that. It's powerful. Dependency is when we rely on others for things we could and should learn to do ourselves. Interdependency is when two or more capable people choose to rely on each other because they know it makes them stronger. That's what real community is. You might grow the tomatoes and your neighbor bakes the sourdough. You might butcher the chickens and they help you mend a fence. You teach your kids to chop wood and your friends share her skills in herbal remedies. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. It's how every functioning, thriving, long lasting homestead community has always worked, from the pioneer days to the present. Now, why does this matter? In today's world, we're being told one of two things. One, that we should trust massive systems to provide all of our needs without question, or that we should hunker down, disconnect, and fend for ourselves with no outside help. Mm. Both extremes are dangerous. And here at the Farm to Table Show, we advocate for a third way: intentional, local resilience with shared wisdom and personal responsibility. It's not about abandoning modern tools or community systems. No, in fact, I believe God gave us these modern tools. We should use them. It's about building our own local strength so we're not vulnerable when those systems fail. Mhm. But that strength isn't just built with compost and chickens, it's built with people: people you trust, people you barter with, people you pray with, cry with, and learn with. And that doesn't happen if you buy into the lone wolf mentality. That's right. Let's talk about some stories. The ice storm. We all remember some of those. We've had them. A few years back, unexpected ice storm hit down here. Trees down, power out, roads blocked. We had firewood, canned food, generator. We were ready, mostly. But halfway through the second day, this family's generator started having issues. They had tools, but not the right parts. So they called a neighbor down the road who had an old unit in his shed, and they traded eggs and venison sausage for the part and got things up and running. He wasn't part of their normal network, but he was just a good man who valued community. And he reminded them even the prepared sometimes need a hand, you know. And then another time there was a homesteading family had a mama goat in distress during birth. They called that another neighbor. They worked through the night with headlamps and buckets of warm water, trying to save the babies. They lost one, but two survived. And the next week, she brought that neighbor fresh milk and herbs for their sick. That's not dependency, that's interdependence at its best. And it's what makes this life sustainable, not just physically, but emotionally. Mm. Now, let's get into the fallacy, if you will, the faith of the lone wolf. For those of us living out our self reliant lives with a foundation of faith, there's another layer here. Scripture is clear. It's not good for man to be alone. Bear one another's burdens. Each part does its work, the whole body grows. It's part of body life. From the body of Christ to the body of your local community, we're not meant to go it alone. Jesus himself lived in community. He had his disciples, his family, and his friends. In the early church, they shared everything. They prayed together, they relied on each other. So, why do we sometimes act like being truly faithful means being completely self contained? Faith doesn't call us to isolation, it calls us to wisdom, stewardship, and shared strength. So, what does self reliance really look like? Let's paint this picture clearly. Self reliance on the homestead looks like growing what you can, learning to fix what breaks, building skills before buying solutions, taking responsibility for your own home and health, living within your means, teaching your kids the value of work, storing food, fuel, and knowledge, supporting your neighbors, bartering with friends, staying teachable, leaning on God, and remembering that freedom doesn't mean isolation. It means living unshackled and open to community. That's the kind of self reliance we believe in. So today, as the sun rises and coffee brews, we invite you to ask yourself, where have I bought into the lone wolf myth? What could I lean on or support more intentionally? And what does resilience look like in my specific season of life? How can I build relationships that take my homestead or my family or my faith stronger? Because the most successful homesteaders aren't the ones who do it all themselves. They're the ones who build circles of strength, one trade, one visit, one phone call at a time. Hashtag stronger together. So let's stop romanticizing the solo act. Let's stop idolizing the man on the mountain who never needed a soul. That's not the goal. That's not the model. And that's not how any of us will thrive in the days ahead. True self reliance is about building lives, families, and communities that are ready, not because we're separate from the world, but because we've strengthened each other to stand when the world shakes. So let's keep planting, keep learning, keep teaching, keep building, and keep reaching out because we're not lone wolves. We're a living, breathing, resilient network of folks who still believe that faith, hard work, and neighborly hands can carry us through. So that's what we got to do. Stop pursuing the kind of self resilience that doesn't make room for others. All right, folks. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Going to go through roll call. It might be a little short on numbers this morning. I did notice when I got up this morning and got logged on that my scheduling that I had done, at least on my end in my control room here, was gone. Didn't show it as scheduled. So I don't know. We had storms pretty bad last night, different areas. So maybe something got a glitch, but we're all here and a bunch of us are in. So we're going to go through, give it the old roll call. Good morning, Ed Kirkpatrick. Glad to see you in. Hope things down in Georgia are fine. Good morning, Joy Bartlett. Hope y'all are surviving well up there. Just a little east, I'm sorry, west of us. Good morning, Robbie. Glad to see you in, brother. Uh, Owen Boynton. Well, welcome in, Owen. Man, Scotty, listen, good morning. Came and turned the lights on. I'm home and so far doing okay. Expanded part of my throat, 20 millimeters, which I think is three-quarters of a minute. Time will tell if it worked. Wow, that's some procedure. I'm sure you're pretty sure that typing may be what you're doing, not talking. But brother, I'm glad that you came through it okay. I'm glad you're back with us. We certainly missed you yesterday. Um, having you on and being here to turn the lights on, and we're just thankful for the. It was prayers going up on your behalf, and certainly glad to that you came through that okay. Let's see. Good morning, Rebecca. Touched by Yarn. Hope you and Ronald came through the storms up there okay and are doing okay. Let's see. Already said good morning, Joy. Let's see. Here we go. We got all this back and forth in the chat. Good morning, Jack. Hope you find you feeling better today. Let's see. Uh, see, it did. Okay, y'all. Y'all were on another version before this one started. Yeah. So that tells me it did schedule, and then on something on my end messed up. Okay. Well, that's okay. I can handle it being something on my end. Um, you know, it just throws me into a loop of confusion when I come in and you know, uh, the word I'm looking for when I come in and it's mm, it hadn't been outside yet. I haven't either. I can look out. I'm not worried about up here too much. It didn't sound like it was too bad up here where we were at, of rain and thunder and a lot of that stuff. But our property down in town, the sirens were going off. And anyway, so I trimmed that tree down, so I'm not too concerned. But there still could yet be a mess and still could be damage. So I'm going to swing by there here in just a few minutes and after the show and take a look and see what's what down there. But glad y'all came through okay. Um, and yeah, well, some reason or other, sometimes with Restream, and I don't know if anybody else who uses Restream has had this problem, but sometimes it glitches and it doesn't show on my end that the recording went through, or the schedule went through, but then on y'all's end, it went through just fine. But of course, this would happen today because today is drum roll, please. Today is episode 100. That's right. Today is episode 100 of the morning show, of the morning edition of that. And what a day! I just, kept seeing this number coming, and it's like, wow, 100. That means that tells me we won 100 mornings that y'all got up, or most of y'all, if not all of y'all, got up and spent with me hanging out here. Uh, hey, Robbie, listen, y'all didn't even get any rain. Apparently, y'all are down in that southeast corner, and I think y'all, I don't know, I think y'all's rain comes from a different direction. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, so anyway, 100th episode, and so I figured it up. That's if you do 5 days a week, that would be 20 weeks. Now I know I started, it's kind of off. It's Tuesday, but 20 weeks. Uh, and if you figure 4 weeks, well, that'd be right. 5 months. So we started January 1st, and today is May 20th. So there you go. Uh, Sepulpa got hit, some damages, don't know of any injuries. Well, we'll pray not. That was my prayer all through yesterday's, damage. Things can be replaced, but you don't want any injuries and loss of life. There's been a lot of that this last week, and down in Kentucky, Missouri, up in Missouri and other places. And yeah, we just don't need any more of that, and so definitely hope everything's well there, Joy. And anyway, so uh, I don't have any big party streamers or anything like that. I just got a cup of coffee in my hand and, 100. Restream. I like that. Restream wanted to do something special for the 100th stream, so they messed up on you. Yeah, that's about right. I don't know. Like I said, of course, I was up till, well, I mean, not late, but I was up till a little after 9 last night on the computer and got it set up last night. I mean, it was one of the last things I did before I went to bed. I was working on another project that I'm working on for some shorts and stuff like that. And so I was up on it kind of a little bit longer yesterday than I normally am. But yeah, I don't know. You're right, Scotty. I don't know. It just wanted to give us a happy 100th, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, so like I said, no streamers, no nothing, just a good cup of coffee. So toast to that. Um, we'll see how many more. As long as people keep showing up and keep watching, I guess we'll keep doing. Um, and Jack said he's had some glitching with Restream. Like I said, it's random. It's not the first time that I've scheduled and then it not say it didn't go through, and so I did it again, and then y'all guys on the other end are, having two streams. My nephew Cody, Shane Cody's in, said storm was bad last night, especially on the south side of Fort Smith and into Barling. Okay, great. I got to go through Barling this morning, at least to touch the edge of it. Anyway, but so yeah, it's storms were blowing last night. I think the valley got more of it than we did up here on the mountain. But we'll see when I leave and head out on the county road, out on the roads, if there's any tree branches down across the road or any flooding or anything like that, I guess, when we head out. But anyway, so, there we go. Like I said, this is 100. We'll see, next up, I guess, is 200 and so on for that. So thank you all for your support. We couldn't do this without y'all, and probably wouldn't do this without y'all. You hold us accountable to being here, but then also you support us by being here, being in the chat, and watching and listening, and all of that. It helps us, and we love getting the information out and sharing. But anyway, this week is step number 2 in the or step number 2, principle number 2, whatever you want to call it, in the self-reliance scale, which is grow something, anything. But I've been seeing a lot of YouTube videos, other homestead video channels and stuff out in different places talking about self-reliance and the myth, and that's a lie and all this other stuff. And so I really felt that it was important to go in and put an episode down that clarified what we mean by self-reliance in the homestead world. Uh, without so that we understand that it's not the lone wolf mentality, and it's not doing it alone. That we need each other. I need, if that chat box over there was empty, it'd be real hard to go through this show. It'd be real hard to do it and get up every day if nobody was tuning in. Um, but people do tune in and watch. Plan to be here 4 days a week when I can. Enjoy starting my day. Get information. And yeah, and I know you've got Bible study, uh, uh, on Thursdays, and so we know you're not there, Robbie, when Thursdays come around. Uh, does growing dust count? Well, if it does, I'm in luck because I got plenty of that too. And my house is an absolute mess, construction zone and all. But anyway, so we'll count it. We'll give you credit for that, Scotty. Um, and hi from the Central Coast of California. Well, welcome in, welcome in. Uh, you're up early out there or up late, I guess depends on the definition. Be it I know it's 4:20 in the morning out there. But anyway, yeah, it is crazy how things can get away from us and the weather and everything, but how our houses. I was just sitting there thinking about Terry from TNT, hoping that they're okay up there. Noticed he's not in this morning, and yesterday I knew he was out with Bible study, but noticed he's not in today, and so I hope he's well. And some others who may not be with us, hope they all survived it well. But this community and the community here on this channel, the community I see in other channels and Jack's channel and stuff, and Robbie and stuff when we go and do the Sunday night, the Homestead Sunday, with everybody there, and then these meetups uh, uh, and all that we do out here, and these expos and these events, and getting on Facebook and YouTube and finding these people, you know, it's not just a community here of people on social. I mean, sometimes it is just because of distance. This is where we see each other. But I've also seen time and again where this community rallies around each other when somebody's going through something or needs help, or they find themselves in a difficult situation, or I said whether it's just prayer or they actually physically need help, or in times of disaster and things of that nature when we've seen the homestead community round about each other, and that and then that's why I said amen when I go and talked about a neighbor with a tractor. When we first got our property, I didn't have a tractor, and then the first tractor I got was an old 8N Ford. And if anybody's ever had one or worked on one, you realize that's oh, okay. You said you think Terry's Bible study was this morning. Okay, maybe it was. I don't know. I lose track of days. But anyway, either way, I just noticed he's not here. Hope he's okay. Um, but the his solar system, hopefully it survived and he's doing okay. He's got power. Um, but anyway, that old 8N, I spend more time working on it than I did using it. Anybody that's had one understands that. But mine had actually ended up losing compression, and so it's just you could get it started, but even then it wasn't that great. But I had a neighbor next door with his tractor would come over and give me a hand with some things and help me out until I actually got me a good tractor with a bucket loader and stuff. And he still, occasionally will help out with something. And, it's important having a good neighbor like that and having that community around you. And, we've been up here now for a little while and I've got to know a few people in the community. So if I really need something, I know who to go ask, and they can point me in the right direction. And that's the importance of that. And within the homestead community and with your own community that you actually live in, um, we're coming up. I do believe it is this. I don't know if it's this weekend or if it's. I think if it's this weekend or the next weekend. I think it's the next weekend. Uh, our local farmers market's kicking off, and I know some of the ones in other areas have already kicked off. It's that time of year, and that's where you get to meet a lot of people and find resources and find where you can get good home food if you don't grow it yourself. So, but anyway, um, but yeah, so hey, that's what it's all about. So just wanted to clear that up on week 2 of this series. So when we say self-reliance, we don't mean the lone wolf. We don't mean going alone. We just mean the ability to be resilient, the ability to do some things for yourself, the ability to stand strong and be steady when things are maybe falling apart, or and you're not totally dependent upon the big systems and that stuff. Now, some of us are at varying stages, and maybe next week I'll pull the self-reliance scale back out, and we'll go over that, what it looks like, from left to right. Left being 0, zero self, pretty much getting everything from the system and everything made for you, and not doing anything, all the way to the far right, which is I've never met anybody that's completely there. I have met a few people like our video that's out right now and the shorts out right now. The Doughertys, they're growing 95% of their own food. I mean, that is absolutely impressive. Uh, but then I see others who are off gridders and stuff like that, like Zach Bauer, who, they're still, they grow a lot of their, I mean, they're pretty independent, but they still need stuff from stores and they still have system needs as well. So it's a journey, and we'll continue to help on that and go on it ourselves. Keith over there in the Philippines, who's not with me this morning, which tells me that he's either having problems or he's out and about. They are over there, somewhat on vacation, I guess you'd say, and so so he may be out and about. It's evening time over there. It's 7:30 in the evening, so they may have company or they may be over somewhere. So I don't know. Anyway, yes, I'm gonna bring this up. The homestead community has shown me that there are many people who care, even if you've never met in person. I've helped out when I can around the country with things. That's right. And that's the thing. A lot of people, we've never met in person, but they're, it's part of, become a part of the community. And, I've seen it in person and across the country like that. And so that's what's, lets me know that the lone wolf mentality doesn't really exist. But, um, so anyway, hope this finds everybody, like I said, safe and well today. Um, anyway, let me see if there was somewhere I was going right there. Um, I guess actually looking at the clock, I need to probably go ahead and start wrapping things up. I've got to head off to work myself today, another day, but uh, thought I was going to have to dash right out the door, but then this weather and everything pushed our schedule back an hour. So um, surprise, surprise, and got to take a back way into a farm, which tells me that that road's probably not passable that we use. Anyway, let's jump into some upcoming events and see what we got here. Of course, coming up very soon, the June 6th and 7th, the Homestead Festival, Artisan Mills. I'm going to go ahead and push Robbie before I finish reading that. Home is just like the church. You can do it alone, but it will never go as well. You need those relationships to build yourself and during these bad times. That's absolutely correct. It is it is good to have a community and faith community. Oh, excuse me, as well as your community of people around you that you can call and that they can call you as well. Uh, you got to reciprocate that as much as we're possibly able to. But anyway, so let's get on this event thing. June 6th and 7th, the Homestead Festival, Artisan Mills near Columbia, Tennessee. That one I said Roy Feek's place got a super great lineup, music, vendors, speakers. Uh, that's a large one, 6,000 I think last year. So super big. Modern Homesteading Conference, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, June 27th through 28th. You can find information at modernhomesteading.com. That's another one that's been coming on the last few years and has a great lineup and looks like a great time. Would love to make that someday. I'm going to go through the hot months. We're not gonna, nothing I have aware of going on July and August. Could be is, but I have nothing aware of. Anyway, Ozarks Homesteading Expo kicking off the fall run September 5th through the 6th in Marshfield, Missouri. Looking forward to being there at that one with everybody there. The speaker lineup is phenomenal. The vendors are great. It's just a really cool event. Usually running, like I said, several thousand people there over those 2 days, and it was a great time last year, and I'm super looking forward to being back there again this year. Then September 26th and 27th, Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous, Southeast Expo Center in McAllister, Oklahoma. Second year event and shaping up to be much bigger and much better this year. It was a great first year event. Really enjoyed it. Glad we worked with them and, being on the committee and being part of the people behind, working with the people behind that and just super excited. It is, we've got more vendors, got more speakers. Gardening with Leon. Leon Sloan is supposed to be there. Um, and we've had sponsors come on board, like Nutrimill and others, and we just appreciate them. But anyway, so put that one on the calendar. It is a great event. The Expo Center, Southeast Expo Center, does have a handful of camping spots there. Not very many, just a few, but they do have a handful of camping spots there. So if a person want to bring their travel trailer in, they can. and the rent on it is pretty cheap on that. But it's going to be a music festival or music entertainment Friday night, I think. But anyway, and then, of course, rounding out the year, October 10th and 11th, Homesteaders of America Conference, Front Royal, Virginia, the granddaddy of them all, the one that got this thing started. And it has a lineup of speakers second to none. But that is the events that I have on my list anyway. And as everybody's been saying, hashtag stronger together. And Scotty threw another one in on us. Hashtag community is key. That's right. So, folks, that is a wrap for today on the Farm to Table Show Morning Edition. Thanks for joining us as we strive towards building stronger communities for now and in the future. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to hit the like button, give us the old thumbs up, and share it with your friends. Tell your friends all about us. Invite them in. And subscribe to our channel on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble. That way you get these notifications, and it's the best way to stay connected and help grow the conversation about food, farming, and community. Until next time, keep your roots deep and your vision growing. Good food starts with great people, just like you. And remember, as we've seen in there, we are hashtag stronger together, hashtag things outside the big box store, shop local. And today, hashtag community is key. Be a blessing to someone today. And we will see you all on the other side. We will see you back tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., Monday through Friday. And y'all have a blessed day and be a blessing to someone today. And yes, Cody, here comes Hank. Let's take him on out of here.
No humans were harmed in the production of this podcast.